Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video, and for this one it's yet another video where we have both the route and the train making their debuts. There are not very many routes left that have not appeared in any way, shape or form. In fact, there's only two, and this is one of them. So yeah, we are in North London. Very specifically, we're on the Goblin line, and we're doing the full length of it. We are starting at Gospel Oak, and we are finishing at Barking. So yep, the full thing. And obviously it's going to be an all stops service, which means this is going to take probably even longer than the South London one I did a few videos back. So for the train, well, because the electrification of the North London lines is all over the place. Some of them are electrified, you know, with overhead AC. Some of it is third rail DC. Some of it is not electrified at all. I decided to play it safe. I've gone with a DMU, so we've gone with the London Overground specific class 172. It's not the greatest train you'll ever see, but it's good enough. It's certainly good enough for what we are going to be doing. It's only a two car. That's the only option I have as far as the class 172. Or at least at the moment it is. And as far as the specifics, it is autumn, it is cloudy, and it is 11:30 AM, because why not? So that is the setup. Let's get this up and running. And here we are. Right, let's get this thing set up. It's not going to take a particularly long time. So, day running. That, I think, is about it. We don't need the cab light, we don't need instrument lights, they're already on anyway. So yeah, that is everything. Alright, let's let the passengers on. Yeah, for some reason the brakes go into emergency when you open the door. I've no idea why it does that. Must be some kind of rather over the top emergency safety feature or something. So here we are, we're in what looks like the very first 172. 172001. But yeah, very typical class 170 series. Has what looks like very small wheels on it. The very distinct London Overground livery. And yet, only a two-car train. So Barking is only 11.85 miles away, but it's still going to take us a little while to get there because, yeah, we've got a lot of stops between here and there, and I can't remember what any of them are. I think that was the guard getting a bit impatient, so let's get underway. So as always, 15 mph limit as we start. No idea what the speed limit of the 172 is, or you know, the max speed of it. I can't imagine it being any higher than 75. Okay, we're into a 20 zone. Very soon into a 40 zone. Now, I think the 55 zone that we are approaching, I think that is the fastest we will be able to do for the entire route. So yeah, we're into the 40. I think this goes up to knots, yeah, knots 7 is full power. So we have our first stop coming up, which is Upper Holloway. So now in the 55 zone, for what it's worth. So you can see this stretch of the route is completely, like, you know, unelectrified. So yeah, if we're going to do the gospel line, that's what my old man called it earlier, the Goblin line, you've got to take a DNU. I'm coming in a bit too slow. I've braked rather hard and rather fast. Yeah, I know, it's rare for me to do that, isn't it? All of these stations are quite small, as you would expect, really, seeing as they are in suburban North London. Really shouldn't need to put it into knots 3 for braking, but nevertheless, there we are. So here we are then, Upper Holloway. I think it's fair to say we're not going to be seeing like any fantastic you know, tourist sites and that at any point on this route. But we will certainly see plenty of evidence that this route is really well made. Okay, doors are shut. Let's get back underway. Left before the guard gave us the alert, but never mind. Let's put it up to full. Because we don't really need to be going any faster than 30, seeing as we have the 30 limit coming up pretty soon. We also have Crouch Hill Station coming up pretty soon. So even though we are going fairly slow, we're still losing speed even with the throttle in notch 1. Now, I did reboot my PC just prior to doing this video, so these pauses seem to be indicative of a route that is using a hell of a lot of scenery. Again, I've got to put it into 3. Well, we stopped well enough. So, yep, here we are at Crouch Hill Station. This time we will wait for the guard signal. There we go. We get underway, and next stop is Haringey. It might be Haringey Park. We've got Haringey Park Junction here. Haringey Green. Haringey Green Lanes even. So still, yeah, no electrification anywhere along here. I'm sure there are parts of the Goblin line that are electrified. There's certainly a fair bit of the North London network that is. If this is, if it turns out this is the only route that is not electrified, then I would be quite surprised. So we're on a 1 in 100 downhill section, so yeah, having to brake a lot earlier than I would have, but we are only in notch 1 braking at the moment. I think we do need to take it down to notch 2. Far too early, even by my standards. In this instance, I'm happy to leave it in, but no, I'm not. Okay, so yeah, Haringey Green Lanes. Plenty of the older tower blocks around. That's nothing new for London, but yeah. Certainly nothing in the way of well-known sites. Here you go. Right. So South Tottenham is our next stop. I think this takes us pretty close to the stomping grounds of one of the regular viewers. Tower Bridge something or other. The guy who is insane enough to be in the process of making compilation videos of all of my review videos. So there's a good chance that by now he's in a straitjacket somewhere in Broadmoor. So 20 mph limit as we approach the station, so we'll coast from here. Looks very much like we will have to brake at some point. Well, obviously we'll have to brake at some point, but yeah, we're going to have to brake in order to get our speed down, especially as we're now on 1 in 100 downhill section. So our speed, yeah, was actually increasing. So for some reason the audio still has the echo, even though we are out in completely open ground. A very small platform here at South Tottenham. There we go. So yeah, platform is barely big enough for a 2-car train. Nevertheless, we were able to get on here completely, so I'm quite pleased with that. So yeah, here is South Tottenham. It looks a lot greener here than I suspect it really is. Again, I jumped the guard signal, but there we go, the echoing has finally stopped. So we're now into a 40 zone. Yeah. So we were very briefly on a section that was electrified, but we turned off it almost straight away. You don't really want to be getting too much speed, because we're going to have to, yeah, start braking for this 20 mph zone as we approach the Lee Valley viaduct. And Black Horse Road is the next station. Yeah, going to be waiting an age for that to catch up. Oh, I am now speeding because I wasn't paying attention. There we go. So that pretty much was the Lee Valley viaduct that we've been over. I mean, this technically, I suppose, is still part of it, but you can see that it is rather sunken in. Anyway, we are now on a 1 in 73 downhill gradient. This is going to make the approach here a bit tricky, except it's now leveled out. Yeah, it's a good job this is a quick drive, because yeah, trundling along at this speed I'd be so late in turning up here. And by the standards of stations on this line, this one is a fair size, but yeah, it's not going to rival Euston, not quite. So here we are at Black Horse Road. Yeah, not a huge amount here. That's what we were waiting for. Right, onwards. So, I mean, Barking Station is less than 6.5 miles away, but I think we've still got plenty of stations yet. Walthamstow Queens Road, next stop. still have a couple of stops in Leighton and Leytonstone coming up. So yeah, a lot of this platform is completely unused, as you can quite clearly see. But here we're okay. So, here we are then, Queen's Road, Walthamstow. And Walthamstow ain't a bad part of London. It's one of those that doesn't have a great reputation, but I don't see anything wrong with it. Been here on multiple occasions. It seemed fine to me. Okay. I think we were rolling back a bit there. I think it might be that the reason the emergency brakes always kick in with the when the doors open is because the brakes are so awful. They have to be on emergency, otherwise there is a chance of us rolling back. So I think we're going to have a few operational errors of train moving while the doors were open. Well, that's something I was not expecting. Class 70. I mean, there's no shortage of freight runs on this line, but I would have expected them all to be class 66. You do occasionally get a class 92, obviously you wouldn't get one of those here, but yeah, I've never seen a class 70 on this route. So Leighton Midland Road is the next stop. And after that I think we got Leytonstone High Street. Coming in way too slow here. This is a very short platform here. I'm gonna... Well, actually, I need to get the entire train on. I think this is one of those platforms where we can barely fit two cars on here. Yeah. So anyway, yes, Leighton Midland Road. I'm sure the Orient's ground isn't too far away from here. That is on the Brisbane Road. Took its time getting here. Right. So it's quite a short hop before we reach Leytonstone. And even though the old man is a Welshman, he was pretty much brought up in Leytonstone. This is where he went to school. It's a long old trip to school, that Bangor to Leytonstone. Okay, so it's Leytonstone High Road, not High Street. This is another one with a very short platform. We can just about fit the two cars on here. I mean, all they need to do is open up some of this disused part and they'd be fine. Look at it, this platform could be enormous. I mean, overly so. It wouldn't need to be as yeah, it wouldn't need the whole of that disused platform reopened, but just open some of it and sorted. Anyway, back to haven't opened, although they're perfectly fine there, that's no problem. But this is Leytonstone High Road anyway. I've been here on numerous occasions, although I suspect the place has changed beyond recognition since I was last here. Yeah, see, we're rolling back even with the brakes on 3. Well, one thing that certainly has surprised me, I didn't realise that this entire line was not electrified. I thought there were parts of it that would be, but no. Well, there was that one bit where we shared the line with, I think was it the approach to South Tottenham, but yeah, that was the only part. Wanstead Park coming up. If Wanstead Park is the place I'm thinking of, it is actually quite nice there. Every time I go into London, I always try to spend, you know, at least half hour or so in one of their parks. I mean, my favourite one is one of the royal parks in central London is St James's. Great place there. Once you're in there, you would not believe you were, like, you know, pretty much slap bang in the middle of central London. But yeah, when you're out sort of like East London way, yeah, Wanstead Park is fine, if it's the place I'm thinking of. Again, coming in way too slow. But by this route standards, this is a fairly good sized platform. So yeah, here we are at Wanstead Park. Oh, here's something else I certainly was not expecting to see. Class 67, that'll be a mail train. That is pretty much the train that I drove when I did the Nottingham to Lincoln video. They do take their time sometimes. So a slight speed limit decrease down to 40. Doesn't last very long before it goes back up to 45 and a quarter of a mile, and then drops down again to 30. We have Wood Grange Park station coming up in about half a mile. So we have the echoing audio again for really no reason. So 1 in 65 downhill. No, they're not for us. Good job, really. So we're still going downhill, but it's just leveled off even more, so I think we're okay now. Yet again, very small platform. But no problem with that stop. So here we are at Woodgrange Park. Not sure I'd want to be living on those houses which have half a hill embedded in them. When you're ready for the guard signal, that seems to be when it takes the longest to get you know, actually sent. So entering the 45 zone. There we are. So we are approaching the Barking Junction, and that is where we join the London, Tilbury and Southend line for the only part, the only drivable part of the LTS in this game. I'm assuming that 25 that we're coming up on is yeah, that's where we are going over points. So we need to start getting our speed down as we have another 172 passing us. I've also just noticed this part is electrified. Hardly surprising, seeing as we are joining the London Tilbury Southend line. And 1 in 80 climb here. So yeah, we must be going over these points here, yeah. And then we have what I think is going to be a fairly steep downhill section. 1 in 63. I thought it was going to be steeper than that, to be honest. I mean, it's still steep enough, but so yeah, we have the single yellow, which is fine. Just bring our speed down to 15. There we go. It's so infuriating. We've got Barking Station here, Give us the rest of the London, Tilbury and Southend line. I've even got a train with the C2C livery. And it's not a third party livery either, it's an Armstrong Powerhouse one. Okay, we're nowhere near the buffers, but I mean we don't need to stop at them. So this is as good a place as any. So there we are. That was the Goblin line. Is it a Barking station? Starting at Gospel Oak. And yeah, it's a good run, especially if you like doing your commuter runs. If you like doing commuter runs and you know lots of sort of like stop-start stop-start services, then either of the North London route DLCs will be ideal, and the South London one. So yeah, that was a good run, and the Class 172, it's a real no frills loco, but it's not a bad one to drive, not at all. Right, let's see how badly we did. One speeding error, and at no point was I moving with the doors open. I was really expecting to see that. So yeah, expecting to see that and didn't. Was certainly not expecting to see either a Class 67 or a Class 70 on the run and did. So yeah, this one certainly had its fair share of surprises. So anyway, there we go. That is that video done, and we will see you at the next one.